Today, we are going to be discussing, can AI training ever be ethical? AI needs vast amounts of data to train, and they don't always get the permission to use this data. So is this really ethical, and are there any alternatives to the current training practices? It seems a major problem with AI in the Web 2 era is that they learn from huge data sets, and often creators aren't asked for their permission, yet they're included in these data sets. AI art models in particular use images to train, some of which are copyrighted, and typically artists don't get paid for this. Some artists are fearful that AI models, able to replicate any and all artwork, might start replacing jobs for the average human artist. But is this really a valid concern? Michele Bousquet, professor and host of podcast Hacks Happen, which explores various hacks, scams, and cybercrimes, argues that technology's been evolving for years and people have always feared it would put them out of jobs. So there's nothing all that different about AI.
This has been going on for forever. Really? I mean, all the people who used to drive around horse and buggy carriages, they got put out of a job when people started to buy cars. And that is just part of it. So I think that the really talented artists will find a way to continue to do something.
But for artist Maggie Wilson, she finds it unfair it should be up to her to prove herself against AI.
I think it's giving people the sense, and they've always had the sense, that art is kind of like there's a magic closet that you can just pull things out of. So you'll finish a painting for someone. They're like, oh, can you make that blue? I don't like really the vibe of this. And it's like, well, okay, we talked about that for 4 hours and it's on the base layer, so now I have to redo it. And I don't think they get that. And I think AI is making it harder for artists to have a real argument in the conversation.
While one of Wilson's main qualms with AI-generated art is that it devalues human creation, making non-artists think that the jobs of artists are easy, her second largest issue is that there's currently no way to tell AI you'd like to opt out of helping in the training process. Bousquet, however, imagines this changing as we enter the Web 3 era.
One of the things that's being proposed is that if you don't want your artwork to be used, there's some kind of signature, whether it's visual or something to put in the file itself to say this cannot be used to train any AI models. I'm not sure what I think of that, though, because that kind of puts the onus on the artist to say, hey, don't steal my work. Probably a more ethical way to go about it would be to say that if you are okay with your artwork being used to train an AI model, when you put something up on the web, you would put something in it to say that it is okay. I liken it to here in the United States, if you want to be an organ donor, you have to specifically say, yes, I want to be an organ donor when you sign up for your driver's license. Whereas in other countries, it's on by default, and you have to opt out of the donor program if you want to. In those countries, they have a lot more donors.
And we've already started to see things like this happening, like Shutterstock's ethical AI art generator, for example, that uses opt-in licensed art databases, rather than just pulling copyrighted work from any old artist off the internet. I think that as we move into the Web3 era, we're going to continue seeing models like this being created and further adapted to be more respectful of artists and creation as a whole.